Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Moxie for and this is my team builder and battle for week 3 of season 8 of the National Pokeball League. This week I'm going up against Ace of Base, coach of the Anaheim Altarias. So the last week I did play Merc in what was a very close game that I did unfortunately lose. So, you know, it's going to happen eventually. I'm glad we had a loss early season so I can at least... as weird as it sounds, I guess, know what it feels like to lose. I mean, I'm used to losing, sadly. It's not really what I meant to say by that, but I mean, you know, I think it's better than having a big win streak and then just feeling very cocky, which I don't know that would really be realistic, but still, just having a loss isn't a terrible thing, and it was a very close game. It was still a very entertaining game, I would like to think, so, you know, not a bad loss last week, so hopefully I can just come back, get a good win versus Ace this week, and then be at 2-1 and get my first conference win this week, as my win week 1 versus Greg was not conference. That was inter-conference games, so I played the other conference. I forget the conference names. And then week 2 versus Ace was a conference game. So 0-1 in the conference, or versus Merc, sorry, was 0-1 was a conference game. And so was Ace. So 0-1 in the conference right now. Next week is not conference. This week is. Then of my remaining 6 games, I believe 5 of them are conference games. So most 7 out of my 10 games are conference games, which makes sense. We have mainly conference games. So let me just get into Ace's team and my team. My team probably have been on screen the whole time as of now. And Ace's team, I will put it up on screen at some point while I'm reading his team. So his team is Mega Gallade, Thunderous Eye, Togekiss, Alolan Muck-Alolan, whichever way, Latias, Empoleon, Darmanitan, Mismagius, Seismitoad, Stunfisk, Lickitung, and Sceptile. So, pretty scary team. I think definitely on the surface, it's just really scary. It's got a lot of threats. Mega Gallade, Thundy-Eye, Togekiss, Alolan Muck, Latias, Darmanitan, just a lot of scary mons that are tough to deal with. That on the surface, I mean, I think in general, on the surface and still, in general, his team is scary. But I think once you really start to look at his team and analyze it more, his team does have more flaws that are more apparent once you really start to analyze and scrutinize his team more. So, his team has a big ice weakness. He has Thunderous, Togekiss, Latias, and Sceptile, and I think there's one more. Thunderous, Togekiss, Latias, Stunfisk, and Sceptile, all weak to ice. So 5 of his team is weak to ice, and I think he has 4 or 5 ground weaknesses, being Muck, Empoleon, Darm, and Stunfisk, so he's got 4. By the way, the list of mons he has is over here on this side. That's why, it's on my other screen, that's why I keep looking over here every time I mention his team or want to look back at it. It's on the other monitor I have over here, so that's why I keep referencing that. You guys will have it on screen, so just wanted to mention that. So his team is pretty weak to ice and ground, as I said, which I hoped to exploit in my team. As you can see, I'm bringing double ground and my ice type into balance now. And his team also is pretty weak to fairy, and ice as well. He only has 2 resistances to ice and 2 resistances to fairy, which are actually the same 2 mons, being Darmanitan and Empoleon. So my plan really is to weaken those 2 down, and for potentially my Bomb Snow to win late game, or even my Zygarde. I'll get into those sets in a bit. So first off, we got this Whimsicott here, Moonblast, Energy Ball, U-Turn, and Memento, as you can see. So just an offensive Whimsicott, very fast. It outspeeds his entire team, barring Sceptile or Scarfers. Sceptile I don't really expect. It does outspeed everything on my team, barring Mega Pidgeot, but that is barring Mega Pidgeot, which doesn't have a great matchup, and I'm not bringing it, as you can see. He does have 3 flying resistances, which are pretty good answers, being Empoleon, Stunfisk, and Thunderous, none of which I want to come in. I mean, I can bring in the Empoleon and weaken it down, which can help my team, so that could be a potential bring and would make sense with the type of team I'm bringing, but I just feel like I didn't have a slot for it, and if he brings Stunfisk, that just kind of chews hits from Mega Pidgeot anyways, so yeah, I don't know, and then it just kind of allows Thunderous to come in too. I mean, Hurricane still does a good chunk because it's a Mega Pidgeot, so it's not a free switch, but still, I mean, I do have decent checks to Thunderous, but still, I don't feel like any team has great checks to Thunderous, so I just didn't want that thing to come in for free, or at least easily. And I feel like Mega Pidgeot just didn't have a great matchup, and while it did outspeed his entire team naturally, he'd rather bring some Scarfer, so I don't know, I just felt a little bit hesitant about that. But either way, Whimsicott will outspeed most likely his whole team. I still don't expect Sceptile, really. My team's just not very grass-spammable at all. You might want to bring it out with Milotic, but he has other answers to Milotic, like Latias, Thunderous, and Togekiss, really. Then Empoleon can also take it on decently well, but, I mean, I can recover what he cannot, so it's still, he has good checks to Milotic, so I don't think he's going to look at Sceptile as a Milotic answer. I don't think he needs it to be one, so I don't think Sceptile comes, meaning Whimsicott outspeeds his whole team, barring Scarfer. So, which he'll probably bring 1 Scarfer, but still, outspeed 5 of his 6 mons, which is good. So, Moonblast, Energy Ball is just good dual stab, hits almost everything. Moonblast really just spares Stamble versus this team. It does have Empoleon to switch in and take that pretty comfortably, but that is where I will pivot out, and either on the switch or just the following turn, get off some chip, and maybe scout a bit based on the damage, but I'll be doing so little I probably can't scout too much, but still, just, a little chip, and I get a pivot, which is good. Energy Ball really isn't to do a whole lot. I probably won't be clicking it much this game, but it allows me to hit Stunfisk super effectively, as well as hit Empoleon neutrally if it's pretty low, so I can hopefully pick that thing off more easily. Fairy MZ to boost my Moonblast. It is pretty powerful. It can allow me to get off a big hit versus something like Togekiss. I think after Rocks, a Z Moonblast plus a normal Moonblast will kill if he's like max HP, so that's pretty nice. If he's lefties, that will hinder my ability to do so, but still, I think of a chance to maybe 2-go with that combination, or if I get a little bit more chip, I can 2-go then. So still, I can threaten the Togekiss, and then I do a lot to knock with that combination as well. And then I can Oko Mega Glade with a Z Moonblast, then a Z Moonblast after Rocks will kill the Thundurus, and then also Oko's the Latias. So Z Moonblast is very good versus his team. The Memento is for kind of just anything, mainly Darmanitan, especially if it's Scarfed, which allows me to set up with my Zygarde, which I will get into soon after my Abomasnow. So that just works well, just to sack it off if I need to. Maybe if I can't hit anything super hard. I'm not super likely to click that, especially because I'm not the Darkanium Z to make that a Z move. I still like Fairy MZ and feel like that can give me a lot of power, and this can actually be, even though it only has 77 base special attack, be a pretty good offensive threat, as Fairy just really spammable versus his team. So that's the idea there with Whimsicott. Be nice pivot, it's fast offensive mod, which matches up pretty well versus his team, especially with the Mega Glade, which cannot be Scarfed, and this is just a pretty nice projectile, especially with my access to the Z move. So that's the idea there. Next, got my Scarfed Abomasnow here, Ice Shard, Blizzard, EQ, Frost Breath. So kind of weird set. I'm bringing Abomasnow for the first time, so it's a fun time bringing the Abomasnow. I'm glad I'm bringing it just to show some people that I am bringing it. Some people might have thought that I wouldn't bring it at all, but I'm bringing it here, so it's getting some action. It's most likely going to hit the field. Although if it doesn't hit the field, that means I win, so that's good. But hopefully it hits the field, hopefully it gets to do something. And it's going to be a beastless game, so as I said, he only has 2 ice resistances, being Empoleon and Darmanitan, which can also get weakened down by my Moonblast from Whimsicott, so this makes this thing a potential late game win con, or even just a mid to sort of late game breaker, or just damage versus his team to weaken things down for Zygarde, especially the Togekiss, which means I don't have to get my Stone Edge from Zygarde, or, just maybe pressure the Empoleon a little more. Although this thing probably won't be coming in until Empoleon is pretty much dead, or is dead, so, because I don't want to have to predict it and click Earthquake. I mean, I have Earthquake there, in case if I need it, Empoleon, or Darmanitan, or well, not really Stunfisk, or maybe like a Alolan Muck. I have it there in case if I need it, but I don't expect to need it, I don't expect to be clicking it. Ice Shard's also there, even though I am timid, I do 2 physical moves, those 2 physical moves are just pretty nice. EQ gives me coverage for some things in case if I need it. Then Ice Shard's good priority to allow me to hit like Thundurus if he's at +2 speed, Scarf Latias, Scarf Togekiss for some decent damage, and like Sceptile too, because I do outspeed everything on his team barring Sceptile, so I do outspeed Thundurus at 111, Mega Blade at 110, Full Latias at 110, obviously. So I outspeed a lot of his mons, almost everything except for Sceptile, so assuming Sceptile doesn't come, I'll speed 5 of the 6 mons, assuming one of them is Scarf, so, probably Darmanitan, maybe Togekiss, so this thing is really nice. Really nice threat is he doesn't have the best switch into Blizzard. This can be a decent check to make a Glade. I don't Oko it, so Blizzard's not doing too much. It does, I think, a little under half, so not too much damage, but still, with the Snow Warning ability, I can get off Blizzards without having to worry about missing, and I do have to be timid to reach a speed that I need, so not hitting like a modest Abomasnow, but still, I can hit fairly hard with the Blizzard, which is base 110 power, so, nothing too shabby there, and just get off good damage versus a pretty non-ice resistant team, so that's the idea there, and Abomasnow could be just a nice addition to the team here, and I'm glad I got the chance to bring it here. So next got my Zygarde here, the second and probably more likely win condition here with 1,000 Arrows, Stone Edge, Dragon Dance, and Extreme Speed, holding the Life Orb, so just enough speed for the Thundurus, just next fastest thing on this team, makes the most sense. So Dragon Dance is really nice, especially as I said earlier with his situation versus with Whimsicott versus Scarfed Arm. I can sack myself off, and no matter what he goes for, then I'll be dead, so it doesn't matter even if like U-turn tries to pivot out, won't work because I'll be dead. He's nothing to put U-turn against. So I can bring in Zygarde, he's at -2, take any hit, get off my Dragon Dance, and I'll be able to outspeed his whole team at that point. And his team really just not have much for +1 Zygarde. Really, I Oko. Yeah, after Rocks, I will Oko a Togekiss, even it's Fizz Death. If it's at full and does not take Rocks, then I think it can live a +1 Stone Edge. But if it doesn't have Dazzling Gleam, which I don't think will if it's defensive, then I can take one air slash and just 2 KO, which is nice. The Latias after rocks, depending on his set, if he has like no bulk, then after rocks he most likely goes down to a +1 arrow. So I don't need outrage. Couldn't really fit it on either way. I mean, I don't want to lock myself into outrage if he does have Togekiss around or Empoleon. I mean, more so Togekiss, but still. And also, I just can't really find the slot for it. I feel like I need Stone Edge to be able to hit Togekiss hard, and I like E-Speed giving me priority to allow me to hit like a Agility Thundurus or any Scarfers on his team, so I feel like Extreme Speed is useful. And this thing might not even need to Dragon Dance, so that's why I really like having the E-Speed there. The Life Orb E-Speed does a lot to a good chunk of his team, so I like having that. It's also a good way to check the Alolan Muck, and it works with my double ground core, because I'm also bringing Crocodile, so just pressuring with my ground types here. He doesn't have the best answers, does the Sceptile, but that's his ground. That is his ground resistance. Togekiss is pretty bulky, so it can still take hits, but still, his team does not deal super well with offensive ground types. Like, he does have Size and Toad, which can take a hit, or like Shuka and Poleon's pretty likely because of my ground types, but still, his ground is pretty spammable versus his team, which I hope to exploit with Zygarde plus Crocodile, and here's my Crook set. So Assault Vest, pretty fat here, Knockoff Pursuit, EQ Stone Edge. So the speed is enough for Togekiss. Just I wanted to maybe toy around with it and maybe get into some mind games, but I feel like I really need to outspeed Togekiss to make sure I can beat that, because if he outspeeds me and has a chance to flinch me, then it becomes significantly more difficult for my Crook to beat his Togekiss. If he has Max Fizz F, I don't 2-KO with Stone Edge. I'm not very offensively invested, as you can see, but I can still knock off his item, which is probably lefties, and then still do around a third with Stone Edge, which is, not a lot, but still decent damage, and I can go into something like Mew, which could allow me to set my rocks, or Bomb's not gonna pressure it. Whimsicott does have the Z Moonblast, so I do have ways of dealing with it, and my Qwilfish does have Toxic, which you'll see in a minute. So I do have ways of pressuring the Togekiss at least, so even if he's Max Fizz Def and Crook can't beat it, I can still deal with it with other ways on my team. And if he's not Max Fizz Def, if he's like Max HP, Max Speed, I will outspeed him, and I believe Stone has 2 KOs, so that's pretty nice. I think the attack was just enough so I can OHKO a Thundurus after it takes rocks. OHKO with Stone Edge, that is. So that's the idea there. And Knockoff is just good stab at a lot of things. Pursuit's nice to trap mainly Latias, maybe even Mismagius. So it's just nice for that. EQ, good stab to hit a lot of things, and Stone Edge, good coverage for, really just for Togekiss, honestly. And for Thundy. So, just really fat Mon. I think it's Def. I think it is specific, and then dressed as... No, so the speed is for something specific for the Togekiss. The attack was for Thundy, then I think just the rest in HP and Spidef. It's not invested exactly for this, so I can still take this and still have a bit of health left. Not a bit, not a lot, but a little bit. More than 1%, guaranteed. I can still take a Z Focus Blast from a Thunderous Eye, which is pretty awesome considering I can take a super effective Z move from a powerful Mon, and that's just how fat this Crook set is, so that's awesome. Not a +2 Z Focus Blast, not a +2 Z anything super effective, but I can take a +2 Empire Ice as well, so this thing's really fat. You can take hits from Thundurus, Latias, and Mismagius, and it's just a nice special tank this game, really, so you can take hits and dish out decent damage, or just be annoying, like knocking off items and maybe pursuit trapping stuff. Like I could use the damage on Latias to help my Zygarde late game, so that combination works well. Let's get my Qwilfish here. So Toxic, Taunt, Revenge, and Explosion. Pretty cute set here, holding me Alpha Berry. So the bulk, I kind of should have re-EV'd this a little bit, at least with my defense and how I spread around those EVs, because this was when I had a Shuka Berry set, and the defense that you see there with the 64 defense and 248 HP allowed me to live 2 Earthquakes from a Darmanitan. That is the first one with my Shuka, second one without. I think that was after Rocks too. So that was the idea there, in case we wanted to predict Qwilfish, but he probably just clicks U-turn in that case, so. Toxic is nice to just weaken down things like Latias, which could be likely switching, or Delayed, or Thundy, or if I can get off Toxic versus the Togekiss would be really nice. Or versus the Licky Tongue, in the off chance he brings that, that's just a nice way to chip that down, which helps my Mew beat it more easily, which is nice. And also Crook can like knock off Licky Tongue's Eviolite, so I don't have the best ways of offensively beating down the Licky Tongue too much, but I can chip it down, have ways of dealing with this slowly, so that's helpful. Taunt is for a variety of things. This is most likely going to be my lead, so I can lead versus, if he leads versus Qwilfish is leading against Empoleon or Stunfisk, I will probably click Taunt to prevent Rocks from coming up turn 1. He might expect that because it will be a lead Coolfish, then he'll see it first turn as a lead. So he might expect Taunt, so maybe he goes for an offensive move or switches or something, but still, Taunt could be useful. Or, as I saw in one of my mocks, I got swept by a Curse Alolan Muck, so having Taunt there to not allow Muck to set up right in my face, or at least maybe he'll get the first one, but after that I can stop it from setting up, which means it's not too much of a threat, or I could even Taunt and stop him from recycling, which could be helpful. So Revenge is just a weird way to hit the Empoleon. Outside of Revenge, Coolfish gets nothing to Empoleon, barring like a weird hidden power, but with 55 base special attack, I did not want to do that. With 95 base attack, that's a lot more viable. Revenge is just a pretty cute way to do that. He outspeeds me, or I outspeed him naturally, but if I go for Revenge, then that is minus priority, so if he's hitting me that turn with like a Scald or a knockoff or something, I can take that and then go for Revenge, which would be double power, do almost half actually, so get off some good damage, which I will need for my Abomasnow or Zygarde or Sippy Shuckup. That's really nice. It's really not doing much to anything else in this team. This team is very very strong against fighting types, so fighting offense at least, so I'm not clicking over as many other things, but if I'm in against Empoleon, and he probably won't be too scared out, because then what's a Coolfish going to do to an Empoleon? I can click that and get off some good damage. Explosion is in case if I just want to sack myself off and get off good damage versus a lot of things. A lot of things might try to set up on me, like they make a Glade, Thundurus, maybe even Togekiss. I can get off good damage reset, maybe even Latias. And the Payappa helps me take a hit from like Latias or make a Glade, so I don't even need to get scared out. He might try to set up on me, but I can just go for Boom, get off a good chunk of damage versus a lot of things on this team. Even Empoleon still does a fair chunk too. Not a lot, but I think still does around 35%, so a solid third there. It's not bad. So this is just pretty nice Coolfish. The speed is for Togekiss. It's not as much as Crook. It's if Togekiss is like creeping Metagross or something, I think. It's not quite as fast as Crook, but I think it's like if Togekiss is creeping max speed Jolly Metagross. I think that's what it's for, so. Because I'm not prioritizing Coolfish outspeeding Togekiss as much as I am with my Crook, so that's why I felt I could take a little bit more of a risk with Coolfish here. So last slot we got my Mew, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, Stealth Rock, and Soft Boiled here, so hitting the same speed as Crook, I feel like I also need to outspeed Togekiss, just so I can get off my T-Bolt first and get off good damage. Doesn't quite take out max HP, Togekiss does, I think, around 40, maybe 45%, depending on the spread, so still decent damage, can still pressure him a fair amount, especially if I can get off a Toxic, that'd be really nice. But I needed this thing to be my rocker. It was the last slot on my team. I knew I needed my rocker, and I didn't love Metagross or Infernape in the slot, and I knew Mew was the best option here. It is nice with Colbur, can take it from the Glade. I know Colbur's kind of obvious and makes a lot of, it makes a lot of sense, but it's not hard to predict. But still, regardless, you can't really prevent me from having it, and still does the job for the most part. And while it might not be used to take a knockoff from Glade, it can still be used for something most likely. So like maybe a knockoff from Empoleon or Phasmatoad, or really, maybe even Thundurus could have knockoff too. So, or actually Muck. It could also prevent me from taking too much damage from my Pursuit. I notice I don't have any ground move to hit the Muck. I feel like Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt was the best combination of two attacks that I could use. I considered Explosion, but then I feel like I didn't want to be mixed and I want to be physical, and I like having special moves to hit his team, and I like having Thunderbolt allows me to hit the Empoleon for good damage as well as Togekiss. So if I carried Earthquake or Earth Power in that slot, then I'm not hitting the Togekiss there, and I can't really do much to it at all. And while I don't 2KO it, still I can do a good chunk and pressure it a fair amount. Maybe eventually get a para. Shadow Ball is just good to allow me to hit the Glade for some damage, more than Psychic, as well as also lets me hit the Latias, which otherwise would wall me. So again, I don't 2KO that thing, but if it is offensive and it's not a Roost, then that pressures it and weakens it to where Zygarde can kill, especially +1 Zygarde. If he's pretty bulky, then just getting any chip could be really helpful, because then +1 Zygarde will kill the Latias. So that is the idea there. I don't need any other coverage. I think it could be useful to have Earthquake or Earth Power to hit things like Muck, to hit Stunfisk, to hit Empoleon if I think he'll switch into either of those. But I feel like these two moves do what I need it to do, and I need Rocks. Rocks help me weaken down the Togekiss, the Thundurus, and just they're good chip for a lot of his team, especially as I said earlier, getting that +1 arrows on the Latias after Rocks. That Rock damage is really significant, as that changes the percentage for me killing with the +1 arrows significantly, from like 25% to around 75, maybe even more. So very big difference there. And then Soft Boiled there just allows me to roost off, and especially if I can Toxic things, it's just nice to keep this thing healthy. And it can probably roost versus the Empoleon, or maybe like Stunfisk or Seismitoad, which could have Toxic, but still, I'll synchronize at least and get that off. So that's the idea there. Mew can weaken down things. This team really just is designed to weaken down a lot for probably Zygarde. Maybe a Bombshells can just clean late game if he doesn't have a Scarfer, or if his Scarfer is gone and his Ice Resists are weakened or gone. So Bombshells could also be a win con late game, but really main win condition is Zygarde. There's a lot of team support here, so I really like this team. I feel like this team can work, and I feel like I have a good plan with it here. So we will get into the battle in just a second. As I said, I like this team. I feel like DD Zygarde just a huge threat. I really like its matchup, and I think I have a good chance with the team I brought here. So let's get into the battle here. Alright guys, so I am back with the battle as you can see here. So I am bringing the 6 that I just went over, being my Mew, Quillfish, Crocodile, Zygarde 10%, Abomasnow, and Whimsicott. Yes, Abomasnow. And Ace is bringing the Mega Gallade, Stunfisk, Empoleon, Togekiss, Latias, and Thundurus Incarnate. So no Darmanitan, which is maybe a little shocking, but not super shocking. I saw it in some mocks. I thought I had a decent matchup, but I do have some good checks for that. I do have, I think, 3 Fire Resists, being my Zygarde 10%, Quillfish, and my Milotic, which some are good, some are bad. Darm checks. So, you know, it had a viable matchup versus me. Yeah, so it could have not come, and it didn't. So he brings a Stunfisk, which is a little bit annoying. I mean, it's not super annoying for my win cons necessarily, but I will still probably need some damage on it, and it's a little bit tough to pressure immediately, at least with what I'm gonna have and be pivoting between early game, because my win conditions that can damage it, I'm gonna be keeping in the back to try to keep them healthy. So Stunfisk could be a little bit annoying, and Empoleon just in general is a little bit annoying, but I do have ways of weakening it down, like with my Quillfish or Mew. Togekiss could be annoying. A lot of his team just could be annoying. Getting at rocks as early as I can could be nice. I could just leave with Mew, but he might be able to just dehog with Empoleon immediately, so I might want to get off some damage on the Empoleon first. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. But I'm just going to lead with the Quillfish here, which is pretty much my designated leader. It's easily Empoleon, so turn 1, here we go. So I'm going to click Taunt, as you can see. So this was, I don't know, maybe... I mean, I'm saying this in hindsight because like, I know what he did. He did not click Rocks, so my taunt was, I guess, ineffective turn 1. As he clicks Scald, no burn, thankfully. But still, I could have gotten off some damage and could have gotten off probably around 40 to maybe 50% with a Revenge. So that would not have been a bad play. It could have got off some nice damage on this. I mean, taunt still makes sense because like, leading Empoleon, Rocks makes sense. But then again, like I'm leading Quillfish for a reason. He probably thinks I have taunt, so I could have clicked the Revenge there, got off some good damage, and like looking at his team, I can see he's Stunfisk, so decent chance that Rocks are on Stunfisk, not on Empoleon. Still, I mean, Taunt wasn't a bad play. Like it makes sense why I clicked it. Just I didn't necessarily need to, and maybe I could have clicked Revenge, got off some damage. But either way, still, I think I just clicked Revenge here because I think he really has no reason to switch. I mean, like he can't get up his Rocks if he has them on Empoleon, but he can still get off another Scald and get off some decent damage, possibly a burn. And I normally don't have anything to really do to this Empoleon, so I'm going to click the Revenge here, which does nothing to the Thundurus. So normally it would do a little bit more if he's offensive, but that looks like a pretty bulky Thundurus based on that damage. So even though it did so little, it's still just enough damage, or just little enough damage for me to be able to tell that it looks like a bulky Thundurus. So I'm thinking it could be some kind of bulk upset, so probably physical. So Croak probably isn't the best answer. I think Mew is a better choice here, as Mew can take a hit decently well. He can knock off my item, which would be annoying, but I can still pressure this thing a little more, and I don't want my Croak to come in, especially if he's Defiant, which he very viably could be. So I just clicked Thunderbolt there, trying to get off some damage on Thundurus and pressure it a little bit as I went into Empoleon. I guess scouting for Ice Beam, which makes sense, but I don't have Ice Beam, so I just clicked Thunderbolt, got off a good chunk on Empoleon here. I'm just going to click Rocks here, thinking he might switch out. You know, he might stay in, but I don't think he's going to want to let Empoleon get that weakened. So in comes Latias on my Rocks, and then he clicks Wish, I click Shadow Ball. I do a chunk, but not too much. Looks like he's around max HP or so pretty bulky Latias here. So here I make pretty bad misplay here. So I think his most likely play is honestly to go right into Empoleon, because he wanted to Wish to throw that thing up to go into his Empoleon. You know, I mean, maybe he could just stay and keep Latias healthy, but I don't think he would have needed to immediately Wish, especially as he saw from the Thunderbolt on Empoleon. I'm not super offensive. I am still a little bit of special attack and modest, so I mean, you might still think I actually am max special attack depending on the roll, depending on what kind of roll I could have got from that, what kind of roll I did get on the Empoleon with the investment that I do have. So maybe he thought it was more offensive than it was, but still, his play was probably to go back into Empoleon. So I made a play thinking like he's definitely staying in, or maybe go into, I don't know, Thundurus, even though it's not the best play. So I just made a kind of silly play. I went into Crook thinking he would go he would stay in, but he really had no reason to. As he can still get off lefties and wish later. And even then, that's still not a horrible situation for the crook against Napoleon, as he's almost definitely Shuka. We have not seen lefties, and Shuka makes so much sense versus my team, especially how he's playing it. So Shuka makes a lot of sense. So what I should have done that turn is instead of switching to Mew, I think I should have just clicked Earthquake, or maybe Knock Off. I do about the same damage, so Knock Off to get rid of that Shuka, which helps my Zygarde late game. So, and I can still live a Scald, and Crook maybe would get burned, 30% chance, we'll see. I think still getting rid of that Shuka is huge, and he did stay in, so he gave me the opportunity to knock off the item, but I did not take it. So in comes Mew in the Scald. I don't get burned, which actually would have kind of helped, because that means I won't get Toxic. But I go right into Whimsicott thinking he'd want to go right into the Stunfisk, thinking Thunderbolt is obvious, and he does want his opponent getting super weakened, but he does take it as a chance to defog. He can still take the Thunderbolt and can potentially wish into it later, so I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just thought he'd go hard into Stunfisk, so I tried to make a read there and go to Whimsicott. That did not work out, so I'm just going to go for a U-turn here, get off some chip, and I don't want to take a Flash Cannon or anything, so I'm just going to go right back into Mew, which can take any hit. This does Ice Beam, which does, a little bit. So here, I'm going to Soft Boil, keep this thing healthy, as he goes to the Toxic, which is annoying, especially because Synchronized doesn't work because he's a Steel type, so this is getting annoying, because this is Shuka, most likely. It's almost at full, pretty much full at 99. So Empoleon's not weakened, and he can bring Stunfisk here, as I do, kind of predict that and go for Shadow Ball. I thought he'd switch, but then it still doesn't do that much. But you guys see, it looks like he was, I think, max Fizz Def, but so we see lefties, and either way, my Shadow Ball doesn't do much, so he gets the heal. I go hard in my Whimsicott here, as he goes for Rocks, which are annoying, not terrible, because, I balance was weak to them, but only one mono on my team's weak to Rocks, which is not terrible, but still there's annoying for my team. So I have Whimsicott in here, as I'm just going to click Energy Ball. I did click Energy Ball, then I clicked Cancel, but it went up at the last second, so it didn't go through in time, so I ended up clicking Energy Ball. So I do a solid 14.7 here. So I think what happened was I misread the calc, or mislooked at the damage that I did, or misread the damage that I did. So there's a little bit of confusion here. So I thought, based on that damage, looked like he was max HP, pretty defensive. We don't see lefties here, so maybe he's like Rocky Helmet, or maybe like a, what's it called, Chardy Berry, the Rock Berry, to take a Stone Edge from Zygarde or Crook, which is possible. Maybe even could be for Coolfish or something. So that could be possible. But here I'm thinking it seems like he's pretty bulky, so I'm just gonna click U-turn here. I should be allowed speed unless we Scarf, or I will unless we Scarf. So I'm just gonna click U-turn, get out some chip, and if you want to maybe make a prediction, try to switch, I can pivot on that. So I'm just gonna click U-turn, and here's he actually is Scarfed and knocks me out. So hi Discord. So that play was pretty unfortunate. So afterwards, I looked at the calc again and looked at the damage he did. And the calc, for his max HP, the maximum I would have done is 14.4%. I did 14.7, so I misread that. So that was on me, and also a lot of other things kind of indicated that he was Scarfed. He did not bring Darm, so it's not Scarfed Darm. So, and I thought he'd bring a Scarf, or Latias was in Scarf. Glade can't be Scarfed. Thunderous, I think we saw lefties. No, we did not see items. So I guess Thunder could be Scarfer. Probably not, because it seemed bulky. So, and I thought he would bring a Scarfer. It made a lot of sense for Togekiss to be Scarf, and also we didn't see the item, didn't see lefties. So Scarfer made a lot of sense. And U-turn, I wasn't gaining much. Considering he'd almost definitely stay, and really there's no reason to switch versus Whimsicott. And even then, I don't have a great switch into Togekiss. So really, he's no reason to predict me to switch, because he can still do good damage with Air Slash or anything. I did not bring a flying resistance, so Air Slash was pretty free on his end. So I guess I really should have thought about that more. The risk of if he is Scarf, because getting up that 2-3% with U-turn was just not worth it, and would do nothing for me. So I should have just gone hard into Coolfish, because that can probably allow me to scout that if he's Scarf, unless he's max speed, not Scarf, but he'd probably be Scarfed if he outspeed my Coolfish. So I could have gone into Coolfish there, maybe even Mew, or maybe hard Crook, but still, having them scout around would have been very helpful to help me weaken Glade, help me weaken Thunderous and Latias, and it'd be very nice, and do good damage to Stunfisk and pressure the Empoleon a bit. It would have just been nice to keep Whimsicott around, and it really kind of sucks, because that limits my setup opportunities with Zygarde, so I could, just sack off Whimsicott versus anything, and then that would be a -2 special attack and attack, so Zygarde would have a good chance to set up there. But, I lost that opportunity. But I can still try to bring this game back. I still do have a scary Zygarde, which is scary versus his team. I need to try to get rid of that and Empoleon Shuka when I can. Either by knocking it off with Crook, maybe Earthquaking with Crook, or going for a ground move with something on my team, like from arrows from Zygarde or EQ from Bombsnow. So getting rid of that Shuka is going to be important, and just weakening down his team to where Zygarde can hopefully clean up, because I don't think a Bombsnow is going to be win con. It's really not, though, because Togekiss is Scarfed, so it's going to be tough for Bombsnow to win this game. So Zygarde's really the win con here, and I really need to try to get up rocks so that Mew can, or try to bring in Mew and find an opportunity for Mew to set up rocks. That way I can get up rocks and weaken down stuff like Thundurus and Togekiss at least, and that way, at least if I don't get a setup, which I don't know if I will be able to, especially because we saw Ice Beam on the Empoleon, so Zygarde's setup opportunities will be limited, so I really don't have a good chance to Ice Beam that. Or I won't be able to take the Ice Beam because I will die from full. So Zygarde might not have a lot of setup opportunities, really probably won't. Maybe versus Stunfisk, will probably have Hidden Power Ice. I might be able to live one, but not many Life Orb hits, so yeah, this could be tough trying to set up a Zygarde, so I might need to put this thing in ESP range. So regardless, so I just need to bring in Crook. Nothing else really does much, and Crook can threaten it by knocking off its Scarf, which it does need. So I'm just going to click knock off. Pretty free knock, because he does bring a lot, he just sucks it off. So I do pick up a kill. Hashtag not a 6-0. That's good. As in comes Gallade here, pretty free Gallade. I just have to go right into my Mew here, as the CC reveals that he is offensive. This is lagging a bit. I don't know if it's because of my Chrome, or just because my computer, but I think I've heard people have had issues with Chrome and the replays, but I don't think it's too bad, so it's alright. I might try to use another browser. I've heard some people have done that, but either way, so I go into Mew on the CC, which does a pretty good chunk, does 32%, so that shows he's offensive, so assuming he's knockoff, that will knock me out even through my Colby here, so Mew's just going to go down to the knockoff here, which kind of sucks, so I'm going to bring my Quillfish here. So what I could have done instead, maybe instead of going to Mew, I could have gone into Quillfish, which would have allowed me, I could have lived a CC plus a Zen Headbutt, because I do have the Payappa, so that would have been nice there. But he could have SD'd on the switch potentially, which means I would not have lived a +2 Zen, because that does more than, like a Zen at my Payappa still does more than close combat, so 2 Zens would knock me out, so a +2 Zen would knock me out. Well, 2 different Zens is different because I would not have Payappa the second time. But you get what I'm saying. +2 Zen would have knocked me out. So that's why I was a little bit scared going into Quillfish there. I mean, in hindsight, maybe I should have, but I don't know. It's, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. So I'm just going to click Explosion here. I need to pressure this thing. I might try to Zen Headbutt in my face. Might try to maybe set up. Might just go into Empoleon, which gets I can get off some damage. I don't think he will. I'm hoping he doesn't, but I mean, if I get off some damage on Empoleon, that could be useful. So I'm just going to click Explosion here and get off good damage versus something. Maybe. I think I would kill the Gallade actually if he stayed in because he has a -1 defense. But he goes into Thundurus. I do a pretty good chunk, so that gets that thing weakened, which is, I mean, is kind of nice, but isn't too useful or too needy because Zygarde doesn't really need Thunder super low, especially because I do have Stone Edge. So not a big deal, but I guess I don't hit my Stone Edge now. I'm just going to bring in Zygarde and click arrows and knock this thing out. So I felt like I was like in an okay position here. Not good, but still. I feel like I still had a chance, but like after Quillfish went down there, I just stopped for a second. I was like, wait, half my team's gone. That was quick. Like I think turn 15. Yeah, turn 15 is where the first blood was drawn in this game. Is where Togekiss knocked out Whimsicott. So now it's after turn 19. Half my team's gone. So in a span of really 5 turns, half my team went. So that's scary. So Zygarde still maybe has a chance to bring this back, but it's going to be difficult with the Empoleon having its Shuka. Most likely. Not certain of Shuka, but it appears to be. Based on how I was playing it, based on the matchup and a lot of other things. So in comes Scarf Kiss, Deacon knocks me out. Bombsnow is the only thing that can take 2 at this point. Well, it can't take 2, but Crook can't take 2, and then Crook just gets out of bed. So Bombsnow is the only real play here, or anything that makes any sense. So I have to go into Bombsnow, knowing he can just get off his Scarf Dealing, well, speed. E-Speed does not kill him, and doesn't even 2-kill him, I don't think. So here I'm going to click Ice Shard, get off some Chip, as it'll help me weaken it down, especially with the Hail. Help me weaken it down to put it in range of E-Speed knocking him out. So I'm just going to go for that, as he does, I guess predict that, or just predict any Ice move. Probably Ice Shard. Those are hard to do the Empoleon, so I don't do much with Ice Shard, but the Hail helps me chip down, I guess. That's something. So I'm just going to go for another Ice Shard, because I can't really forward switch in anything else. So I just had to sack off a bounce there, get off more hail damage. So I could have potentially Earthquaked on the switch there, and I thought about it. But that was just a little bit difficult because I am Scarfed and I would be locked into that. Now I could have done that, and I would have been able to get rid of his Shuka, and then get off more damage with EQ. But I think he'd still, because I mean, well, no, I think after the 2 Earthquakes and the two rounds of hail, it would be in range of either ground hit from Crook or Zygarde. That'd help me, but still he is Scarf Kiss, which at this point can just clean it with D-Gleam. And I mean, Crook can live 1 D-Gleam, but it's not going to be able to live 2. And then, even then, he brings in Gallade, which, like, let's say I did go for Earthquake twice, he knocked out Abomasnow, then I'd rather bring in Zygarde. So I can bring in Zygarde, and then knock out Empoleon, then in comes Togekiss. So let's say I bring in Crook, knock out Empoleon, in comes Kiss. He can go for D-Gleam, do a chunk, and then I don't think Stone Edge kills. Even if it does, then Gallade comes in, and Zygarde, I don't think Oko's that. Then I don't know if it Oko's that and Stonefisk, but even then, I don't know if Stone Edge would kill the Togekiss, and he maybe would even go hard into Kiss on the EQ. Although, I mean, it doesn't matter if Empoleon's still around, if it's not Shuka. I'm just theory mining in my head, so I was just rambling there. Doesn't really matter too much. I don't have too much of a chance at this point. I do knock off, he is Shuka, so I was right. Does go for Scald and gets the burn here, which kind of sucks and doesn't change much. It's still the same differential that it would be. Just changes who would get the kill. As I'm just going to go for EQ, as with me being burned, he now lives that. So I'm just going to bring in Zygarde here, and I could have potentially clicked DD in case if he was trying to go into Togekiss and, you know, and would choke it away if he was just trying to save differential. I could have maybe done that to have a chance at actually winning, because if I did get off that DD, I would actually win. But he's no reason to do that, and I think it's... I mean, I'm only gaining 1 point of differential, so maybe having that chance to win would have been really nice, but it just makes no sense for him to do that, so... And it wasn't really worth it, and he does have Ice Beam, so he can just knock me out if I try to set up, which he probably went for there, so... It doesn't matter too much, though, so in comes Togekiss, and he outspeeds, clicks D-Gleam, knocks me out. I mean, E-Speed didn't kill there, so there's no point clicking E-Speed. I think I clicked DD in case he misclicked. So, yeah, that's not what happened. He did not misclick, he clicked D-Gleam, knocked me out. You know, GG. So, well played by Ace. As I said, the burn didn't matter on Crook, as, let's say he did not burn me, I would be able to knock out the Empoleon on that turn with EQ, in comes Togekiss, just knock out both my last 2 mons with Dazzling Beam anyways, so it just changes, instead of Togekiss having 2 kills in the last 2 turns, Togekiss has 1 kill and Empoleon has 1, and instead of Crook having 1 kill, Zygarde got that kill, so it just changed who got kills, didn't change differential either, so GG to Ace. He brought a good team. He played well, so I can't be mad at him, just mad at myself. Ace played well, Ace prepped well. Good team on his end. He played well accordingly to how I was playing, and he adjusted well, and just brought a good team. He really executed his plan well, and he pretty much did what he was supposed to do. So props to him. He did very good things in this game. So he's now 2-1. I'm 1-2. So, you know, it's a little bit annoying, especially because I like the team I brought. I think the team I brought was very good. It was a bit weak to Scarf Kiss. I do acknowledge that, and I did acknowledge that in prep, but I thought it still had some ways around it, like Ice Shard chip from Abomasnow. Hopefully I can chip it down with Stealth Rocks. If I need to, E-Speed from Zygarde can maybe pick him off if he's low enough, and the plan was still get Zygarde to +1, so I could still knock out Togekiss, because I would outspeed at that point and be fine. But really there are 2 big plays that suck this game. I'm going to try to go to the turns, like turn 7, I think. Yes, this play into Crook here, that was so silly. I mean, even that play alone wasn't terrible, actually, as I still am actually in an okay position, because I could have just knocked off his item here and used that chance to knock off a Shuka, as he did stay in, but I didn't knock off, and that was really silly on my end. That was just, for my plan and what I needed to do, I need this Empoleon Shuka gone, and Zygarde being able to clean up late game means Empoleon cannot have a Shuka around. So I need to just go for that opportunity there, click knock. But I did not. I missed that opportunity. And I mean, Crook would have been nice. Even if it got burned, that would be unfortunate. It would make things tougher. Still, theoretically, 70% chance that I don't get burned. So, you know, more likely than not, more likely I would have not got burned than did get burned. But it's Scald, so you never know. And I mean, it seems that Thundurus was physical, and actually was physical. We didn't even see it go for any moves, I don't think. Did he go for any? Yeah, no, it never went for any attacks, actually. But Thundurus was physical, was pretty bulky. I did get that right. He did send me his team. So, Crook really wasn't a great check to that, because I think it was Defiant, too. So, you know, my teammate does not help me there. It would be a nice check to Latias, but if Latias is just a little bit weak and then still +1 Zygarde helps me reverse that. And I do have my Scarf to Bombsnow there, too. So, I do, and if I wouldn't get around, too, that's still a check to Latias as well. So, I didn't need Crook around for either of those. So that was a big misplay. Then really just turn 15 with me staying in and trying to U-turn on him was a misplay, as a lot of things seem Scarf, and I didn't miss Calc. The Calc was right, like what I was looking at was right. I Calc versus max HP and like no HP Togekiss. He had like 64, so he did a little bit of HP, not too much, still offensive. So I just misread the calc and misread the damage, basically, and got myself a bit mixed up there, so that is unfortunate. Really, those two plays, really. Well, the 3 plays, honestly, because switching... switching into crook, the more I look at it, switching from me into crook on turn 7 wasn't really that bad of a play, considering I could have just knocked off the opponent shook up, but I didn't. So that was a big misplay, and then staying in was a big misplay, because if I had Whimsicott around late game, I could sack it off via the memento, and then Zygarde probably gets to set up versus whatever is in, and once I get a +1, I could potentially just sweep, as long as Implant Shuka is gone and I get some damage on Latias. I should kill everything else at +1. I think I maybe need a little bit of chip on Glade, but still, just rocks or any damage at all on Glade could help me there. So, you know, I misplayed. That's really what's frustrating. This video is going to be like 40 minutes. Oi, sorry. It did not want to make it this long. I just kind of ranted a bit. Not even ranted too long, but just talked a lot of things. So, it's just really frustrating game for me. I think I played pretty poorly. I didn't play like that terribly. Not as terribly as like I wanted to say I did, because I still made some logical plays. I just didn't stick to my plan. I didn't apply my plays to the plan that I had. And I didn't think long-term enough in this game, and I clicked some moves too hastily, and I just made some silly plays and some bad plays. So I just need to think about my plays more and consider them more, and really think about my plan more in my future games. And really, as the season ends, or when the season ends, the season's not close to the end yet, but when it ends, at least the regular season, and just, well, even if I make playoffs still, the whole season, this really should be the worst game I've played. If I don't deserve to make playoffs, if there is any game that I play that's worse than this. Well, unless if I win all my other games besides that, but still, I really don't want to play a game that's worse than this. This should be the worst game I played this season, in terms of just the plays I make. That's what I'm saying. I played poorly this game. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And especially, the reason I'm so frustrated and the reason I'm saying I played so poorly is relative to the team I brought. Because I feel like I brought a good team. It wasn't that I brought a bad team and was just in a bad spot and kind of doomed to lose based on the poor team I brought and the good team he brought. My team, I think, was good. I don't really regret much or really anything for my building. I think I brought a good team for the matchup, and for the team he brought, I just executed my plan poorly and misplayed. And had some big issues there. So, I mean, yeah, there were some minor issues with my team and some things that I could have done better. Like, Scarf Kiss was a threat to my team that I brought, but still, I had some ways of dealing with it, and so with my plan of getting +1 Zygarde, Scarf Kiss isn't a huge issue. So, you know, that's why I didn't consider it too detrimental to the team that I brought. But, you know, that's just how that goes. We're 1-2, which is not good as of now, but still, we can bring it back. You know, still 7 more games, so lots of opportunity to bring this back. Season is far from over. So, next week, I was supposed to play Abe, but Abe had to drop due to, I think, just lack of interest in Mons and just probably general being busyness, which happens to all of us. You know, it's fair, you know. Mons can get old and be annoying, so that's fair. And we are actually going to play Rizzy Pow instead. He's coming in to sub for Abe, so that'll be an exciting game versus my good pal Riz. We've been friends and kind of rivals for a while, so I'm glad to get another chance to play Rizzy Pow, and that should be a fun one. Sorry this video was so long. I wanted to keep it under 30 minutes. This is like 45. Yikes. So I'm sorry about that, but hopefully you guys watched it. If you did watch it all the way, thank you. I appreciate that. Or even just watch the whole battle part of it. Still, that's kind of long, 23 minutes. So thank you to whoever watched it. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next week with the battle versus Rizzy Pow. I think I'm going to get out my March Madness games this week. I want to, but there's like no specific deadline for that because it's not mandatory to upload, so I keep pushing it off, and hopefully I'll do it eventually. Maybe this week. We'll see, but I'll see you guys with the video next Saturday versus Rizzy Pow. Peace out.